Alright, and we should be live. Nice. Okay. Uh haven't done this for some time now. That's crazy. Huh. Alright. And with that being said, let's go through all the stuff I posted in the community poll because yes, these streams I usually do that. The idea is that every Saturday, yeah, I think every Saturday from now on I will stream because a bunch of stuff happens in gaming, and since the posts have shifted from only polls to polls and news, I might as well make something every single week, not once a month, because previously I used to make a stream once a month about every single poll I made. I've done this like 3 times already, and in the past week we got the nominations for the Game Awards, and that's pretty big. Not only that, but a bunch of other news. So why not make a live stream every single week where I go through everything that happened that week, you know? I think that's a pretty good idea. And again, something I keep mentioning every time I stream, if you have ideas for polls or yeah, if you have ideas for polls, you can type them in the comment section. If I think it's a good idea, why not? Might as well ask it. What constitutes a great idea? Something that's, you know, acceptable to ask, because as you can see, these are pretty good questions, I would say. Not the best, but I'm not asking what clothes someone else is wearing or trash questions about if they like my channel, you know, those sort of things I'm not gonna ask. So yeah, if you're gonna have a suggestion, as I said, type it in the comment section. And with that being said, let's go back to maybe the beginning of the week. But before that, we even have another poll, I think. Or was it? Expensive. That's from 4 days ago. This is the most upvoted poll I ever made on this channel. 71,000 votes. But we'll go even further in the past because there are a few more polls. By the way, the Fallout trailer was released. I put it here. I put the link here on the channel. I've never added a link on the channel in the post tab before, and this was mostly an experiment. And honestly, I did not know that this was how they would add the video. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. Okay, this is before the nominations already. With Dispatch asking if it can win Game of the Year, but of course it wasn't nominated. It was nominated only for the best debut indie game, and from what I've heard from this one YouTube account, Alana Pierce, I think she talked about it, is the fact that Dispatch was released after the window. So the final chapter of Dispatch was released after the window of acceptance in the Game Awards. Besides the best debut indie, you know? Oh, this one was also pretty big. Valve is releasing 3 new hardware devices. We might as well talk about this for a second. Yeah, apparently they know how to say 3. So, and funny enough, I did say here Half-Life 3 confirmation, but there are a lot of rumors that Half-Life is going to be announced at the Game Awards. And honestly, that would be crazy. I saw someone joking about Gaben going on stage with his hand up, showing 3 to everyone, as in, of course, Half-Life 3. And I think that would be crazy for sure. I don't like how that camera looks. Okay. Bit better. And then put this a bit lower. That's better. Okay. So yeah, I was thinking about buying the GameCube. Actually, it's called Steam Machine. But all of that depends on how expensive it is. Some people at first speculated that it's gonna cost just like a PlayStation or any other console, but that's not the case. I saw Linus Tech Tips mentioning how they floated the idea of this one being worth $500 in front of the engineers from Valve, and yeah, the energy in the room wasn't that great. That's what he mentioned. So I believe this one is going to be $1,000 at least. I would be surprised if that's not the case, especially because the Valve Index is $1,000. I don't know if that one is ahead of the Steam Machine in terms of what it can do. You know? If we made a comparison, even though they are different devices. And of course, they are releasing the Steam Frame. Now, this one, from what I've heard, it's gonna be priced comparatively to the Valve Index. And it's also a full PC, no wire, you can put it on and that's it. I know that I have used the Valve Index once because in university, one of our teachers, we had a class where we were talking about sensors and stuff like that, and he brought a VR headset. He brought the Valve Index, as far as I remember, or was it a Quest? I don't know. I don't remember. He was a huge fan of the Valve Index, though, and I wonder what he's gonna say once he sees this. I might as well ask him. Then, of course, the what's it called? Steam controller. Yeah. The previous one, the previous controller from Valve, from what I remember, it went on a very high sale whenever they were basically getting rid of the stock. And one of my colleagues from university, he got one of those, and ever since that moment, he keeps telling me how good it is. And it was a very good purchase. Honestly, I feel sad for not getting one. Might as well get one of these, but we'll see. I am curious about the pricing on all of these items. Not that much on the Steam Frame, but we'll see. This patch, as I said, Fallout, the second season of Fallout. Oh, actually, let me see what the people are saying in the comment section. That's also very important. All hail the GameCube. They finally counted to 3. Okay. That could actually compete with the PS5 if it's what we think it is. This would destroy the PS5. Here's hoping I would actually sell my PS5 to buy one of these bad boys. That's crazy. Would you actually sell your PS5? I'm not sure if I would do it. I mean, I did say that this could be $1,000, so you'll need to add a bit more to that, the money you get for selling a PS5. Unless you... Actually, you cannot do it these days. Most people know the pricing. All hail the companion cube? What? It's taken them over 20 years, but they proved that they can, in fact, count to 3. Lord Gaben back again with another common W. Yeah, Gaben does nothing, he wins. Gaben does something, he wins even harder. Lord Gaben back again. Yeah. This controller, or the controller and GameCube, are what I'm most interested in. Only time Valve can count to 3, it seems. I was waiting for him to speak. Yeah, this image of Gaben is taken from a Dota 2 video where he made a voice pack, an announcer voice pack, you know, because for example in Dota and League, the announcer mentions when there is a double kill, a triple kill, and this is taken from that video because they made one with Gaben, and whenever he has to voice you got a triple kill, he mentions you got more than 2 but less than 4. and this is the face he makes. It's actually such a funny video, and you should probably watch it. So yeah, there you have it. That's the stuff about the hardware. As I said, this one doesn't really make any more doesn't make sense anymore because this patch wasn't nominated for Game of the Year, but there were some people who voted yes, in the sense that they believe this patch could win Game of the Year. Maybe it's going to be nominated for something like that next year because, as I said, it went beyond the time limit, you know, for receiving more nominations, I believe. No. 48% of people voted no. Okay. So I was mentioning earlier the Fallout trailer for Season 2. I think it's really good. Of course, I watched Season 1. Obviously, I'm not gonna talk about spoilers, but what I can definitely say, without knowing much about the lore from Fallout, I think the first season was really enjoyable. That's what I can say. I surprisingly haven't asked one of my friends from university who was really into Fallout what he thinks about the show, because he knows the entire lore. That's really cool to me, because how do I know he knows the lore? I asked him something about Fallout New Vegas because I was playing it at the time, and he started messaging me on Steam an entire list of lore elements, and I thought that was pretty cool, you know? I should ask him one of these days. Do you think gaming has gotten better or worse in the past 5 years? Now, this one is a pretty interesting question, I would say. Mixed answers. I mean, this is a really good ratio in my opinion. When you have a full blowout when one option is picked by the majority, not much discussion going on there. I mean, it depends, but 38% of people voted that games have gotten better. 34% of people voted that games have gotten worse in the past 5 years. 24% don't know, and 4% picked other answer. So I'm not sure what other answer could be. I added it because maybe I should add a fourth option here. Just because, you know, but I'm not so sure about what it could be. But still, the majority, well, there are people who don't know. Let's see the comments. The best games have gotten better, but the average game has gotten worse. Okay. It's strange we are hitting both the lowest lows and the highest highs in the industry's ever seen. The industry's ever seen. You either get a Battle Royale feature with $40 Dragon Ball skin, or an absolute mastercrafted masterpiece from a random team you've never heard about. Cyberpunk literally blew my socks off. Okay. Better because mediocre games made by soulless AAA studios are beginning to fall apart, while AA studios or indie devs just make great games. Alright, so the AA standard is applied in gaming. I had a debate with someone on Twitter. Maybe I should show that on stream. Someone that mentioned that AA is not used in the industry, and I proved them wrong by showing this person a definition in the Dex, you know, or I've showed this person some professionals from the field using the AA. 2018 was peak gaming. That's Red Dead Redemption, no? What else? God of War? God of War, Red Dead Redemption. Anything else? 2018 games released. Spider-Man, Hitman 2, Fallout 76. Wow, that's really peak. Monster Hunter World. Okay. Forza Horizon 4. Okay. Pretty good games, but not... I mean, it depends on your own opinions. Modern games are weird. When modern games hit, they really hit. However, when they suck, they really suck. I also think people nowadays aren't content with 7 out of 10 games anymore. What I mean by that is back in the day, specifically Xbox 360, PS3 days, many people enjoyed games that aren't always masterpieces. Prototype, Alien vs Predator, Infamous, Watch Dogs, Sleeping Dogs, Batman Arkham Origins, Saints Row, Ram. All these games range from 6 to 8 out of 10. They weren't masterpieces. If they were released today, critics and people would refer to them as modern slop. And due to the games industry's popularity, gaming companies become greedy, releasing half-baked games and re-releasing features that should have been part of the game originally. Video games is the very definition of the code, a victim to its own success. Yeah, maybe. I think it's more so the fact that people, generations have changed in gaming, you know? There are these new generations who have, who follow what the popular opinion is. So if a streamer says at one point, for example, a very popular person at one point says that a game is trash, then those people who follow this person believe that it's trash without playing it. Zero critical thinking, zero opinions formed on their own. Most of it is formed after seeing the general opinion or what they believe is the general opinion, you know? So that's also a factor. The older generations are not always like that. From what I can see. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong. That's a loaded question. Is it? Is it a loaded question? The most expensive AAA games these days are constantly released half-finished, buggy messes that take 6 months to 2 years to be fixed into what they should have been in the first place. So in the past 5 years, we've had only Cyberpunk, no? Are there other games? Oh, The Day Before. I forgot about that trash. The Day Before. Do they even have a Steam page? Yeah, they do. They kind of have a Steam page. The refund after. So yeah, this is another trash which was released in the past 5 years, which could be part of what this person is referencing. What else? So Cyberpunk, The Day Before, refund after. Then what else? What else was trash? I'm not sure. Anyways, it's like the annoying fisherman from Dying Light said, I'm practical, like the fish in the sea. Nothing is all bad, except for mosquitoes. Yeah, I think that's true. Mosquitoes, my god. I don't even want to talk about it. Vietnam flashbacks right there. Depends on where you are looking. AAA spaces have been on a downward trend for a long while now, while AA and indie gaming in general has been positively booming. I think there are AAA games which are good, but for sure not as many as before, I think. One of the first comments described it well: the good games get better and the average games just get worse. Indie games still do their thing and get their shine, and AAA cannot help but F up more often than not. Goated games are held higher, mid games are beyond that, and bad games get absolutely decimated. Is that true? 51,000 votes, by the way, so thank you to everyone who voted. If I had to give my take on this, on my own opinion, has gaming gotten better in the past 5 years? I think I had fun. I had more fun before 2020 with games, but I was playing more games back then. I think. I think I was playing more games before 2020. Actually, that's not quite true. I was playing multiplayer. I was playing CS a lot. I was playing CS a lot. I was playing some single player story games. I'm not sure. I'd have to sit down and think about the games I played. But I followed gaming a lot more in the past 5 years, that's for sure. Okay, let's move on. Close that, close this, okay. After playing a game, do you watch other people playing it? Friends, streamers? Oh, this is an interesting question. I would say 37,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 31% of people voted yes. 57% voted depends. I mean, depends on probably the game you played, because sometimes you're not gonna watch other people play it. My guilty pleasure is playing a video game to completion, then looking up the most interesting long video essays about it. Now this one was pretty cool to be posted here. Thank you to this person, because I wasn't sure if there would be someone posting about video essays, because from what I've seen, these types of videos are extremely popular. But I wasn't sure if there would be anyone mentioning that. It's a blight upon a few. At least we remember cool useless facts. And that's actually how it happens. Many of these essays talk about facts of the game, small facts, especially those channels who only talk about one game, where you don't really have an infinite amount of content you can make, specifically based on, let's say, the lore of the game. So you have to make content on the small things and stretch it into longer videos, which is, I think, a testament to how good some of these YouTubers and streamers are. Choice-based games, yes. So that would be something like Dispatch. Any game with choices in it, even ones that end up not really mattering, which is most. I just like to see them make different choices and try to figure out why they did so, as well as how, if at all, their choices affect the world. It's also a lot of fun to see them make mostly similar choices but change one or two, and see how drastically slight deviations affect the game versus major deviations. Yeah, that's something I like as well. I like watching people and their reactions to some of the choices I made in different games. For example, I watched people play the Telltale types of games, or Witcher, or Dispatch. I like seeing reactions from other people. I like checking speedruns of games if I need games I finished, to see what kind of glitches and strats people come up with. Yeah, from what I've seen, most of the top tier speedruns, people use glitches to get a very low amount of hours needed to finish those games. Maybe there should be an ethical speedrunning category. The Game of the Year nominees will be revealed. That was news at the time. Do you follow the social media accounts of your favorite games? Now that one was a very interesting concept, I think. The result is even more interesting to me because most people do not follow the social media accounts, and many people do not have social media accounts. The only social media I have is YouTube. I dumped everything else because the internet has become a disgusting hellscape compared to how it worked in the early 2000s. Is that true? Is social media bad? That's a question, no? That's a question to ask. Maybe it is. Bad for your mental because you see all of these opinions which you may think of them as trash opinions. So then, of course, it gets even worse when you see that other people hold that same opinion which you view as outrageous. And then instead of seeing that opinion, you simply stop using social media. I guess that's one argument. Only games with cool devs like Cyberpunk that interact with the community. The Cyberpunk devs are baiting a lot, I think. They bait a lot. For example, last time whenever the last patch was released, they kept hyping the patch like it was the release of a new DLC. They hyped it up. Oh, it's not a new DLC, guys, but here, let me hype it. We put in so much love, so much care, and when you compare it to something released in No Man's Sky, you're gonna say, guys, why did you hype this patch so much and it's basically nothing? Some poses in photo mode, something else there, and that's it. Whereas if you look at No Man's Sky, they released a massive update recently, from what I've seen at that time. And that's something I dislike about the devs from CDPR. Do not hype something up and then be mad because the community is disappointed in what you released because you hyped it so much, you know? I follow some of the No Man's Sky people. Most notably Sean Murray, but I don't think he's hyping up those patches as much as the CDPR devs. Only if it's an online game with future events and content updates. So that would be something like World of Warcraft. That's such a sad story that game is. Mostly because the storyline is garbage these days. Only on YouTube, otherwise ditched the social media back in 2015. Easiest source of restored peace in a very long time. Ooh. That's true? Is that true? Probably. I did mention earlier that the easiest way to escape some of the people you disagree with is by simply stop using social media. That's the best thing you can do. The ultimate move. Ultimate move. Do you think games are becoming too expensive? This is the question where I received the most amount of votes. 71,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. Majority, 92% of people voted that yes, games are becoming too expensive. And the top reply, bad games are becoming too expensive. I don't know why, but I'm thinking directly about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Sorry. That's what I thought about immediately. I remember it being priced, I don't know, $90, something like that, $80 before release. And from what I've seen some gameplay. The world, something I always do. I compare many games to Cyberpunk or characters from games, dialogue options, dialogue itself to Cyberpunk. In Cyberpunk, the dialogue between characters, the scenes, the movement of the characters, the world feels feels like the devs put a lot of care into it. While in Assassin's Creed games, it feels plastic. Oh, now I'm walking in a room, but it actually feels like a cube, as opposed to Cyberpunk, where I'm walking in a room. Okay, there is some trash over there, there is that graffiti over there, there is that, there is this, there is a character walking, making paces, there is a TV on, showing something, a bed over there. That's how it feels like, you know? Very, very good stuff, where it feels like the developers put a lot of care in. Then you have the conversations between characters, where in Assassin's Creed, it feels like there are two models sitting one near the other one, opening the mouth a bit, and that's it. They are having these dialogues which are plastic, as opposed to Cyberpunk, where a character makes spaces from one place to another one, talks, waves hands, has different facial emotions based on what we do or what we say, and that's something which tells me that the developers cared. I cannot look at the conversations in Assassin's Creed after playing Cyberpunk. It's impossible. This reminds me a lot of Witcher back in 2017 whenever I played it for the first time. After playing Witcher, I couldn't play story games for that entire year or something like that. For a long period of time anyways. Because Witcher felt like the developers put a lot of care into it, while everything else felt plastic and bad. Maybe that's only me, but that's how I feel about it. I've seen corpse strip farmers of water and stuff. That's why the prices are going up. Yeah, I put Johnny Silverhand in there. So the reason why I'm choosing these images, very expressive images which represent the answer very well. So yeah, that's why I'm using Gaben or Johnny Silverhand. We have Dispatch at 30, Silksong at 20, Expedition 33 at 50, which are reasonable prices. Then we have AAA games, and the reasonable prices cease to exist. Now, we also have quadruple A games made by Ubisoft. AAA games, for the most part, are way too expensive. I feel like indies are a bit harder to judge since the scopes vary so widely. We are not getting paid enough is the real problem? True. Big true. I don't know, I wait for 75% deals on Steam. Yeah, this is actually something that is tied really well to another poll I asked, another poll question. Where is it? Now that's a question. I asked something about discounts. Yes, this is it. Do you usually buy games at launch or wait for discounts? Many people wait for discounts. 35% of people wait for discounts always. 62% of people say that it depends on the game, you know? So yeah, a bunch of people buy discounted games not on release. So I think that's why so many people voted that yes, games are becoming too expensive. They just simply are. The only counter argument I ever hear is that inflation has outpaced games prices, so they can't possibly be overpriced. Except the fact that revenue numbers on gaming software, the games themselves, continually go up as the years go by, even the price stays the same. So it's clear that these companies don't need to increase the price of games to make more money. Yes, I mentioned this months ago, but the shift in price from 50 to 60 to 60-70 was significantly shorter and lasted not even half the time. I think it was 20 odd years from 50 to 60, and the change from 60 to 70 was only about 5 years ago. And most of the games that have come out at that price wasn't even worth 40. Yeah. So that's how people think about games becoming way too expensive. In my country, minimum wages are like $300 and games cost $70 or even 80. That is, I'm living in the wrong country. Not to one up. Minimum government wages here, $85. Ah, you can buy one game. you can buy one game of $80. You could buy Assassin's Creed Shadows on release with 80. I think it was 80, and then use $5 to feed your family. That's crazy. $85. Wow. I'm never gonna complain in my life anymore. I get around 230. That's tough, honestly. Nintendo Switch 2 games are crazy, right? I've got only one Nintendo console, a Nintendo DS from a very long time ago, but it's not like I'm using it. Ah, this is an old question. Excuse me. But actually, that's a pretty interesting one. Adaptation. Ah, yes. This is something I haven't talked about before on stream. Have you watched any live action adaptation of a video game? 78% of people voted yes. So 78% of people watched something. I added 4 titles I knew about: The Last of Us, Fallout, the Minecraft movie, and the World of Warcraft or Warcraft the movie. And we have 3% of people who didn't even know about them. Honestly, I expected this number to be lower. 3% of 26,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted, by the way. The old Super Mario movie, the one where Yoshi is a dinosaur, like a little dinosaur. Or literal dinosaur. That first season of The Last of Us was lightning in a bottle. I thought it was pretty good. Not better than the game. And my opinion is not only based on the fact that Ellie doesn't look like Ellie. It's actually the smallest thing. Cyberpunk Edgerunners was one of the few animes I watched to its fullest extent. It was just too good. It's not live action. Yeah, that was my first thought whenever I first saw that comment, because yes, I do read a bunch of comments. And I was surprised that people mentioned stuff like Edgerunners. I think someone mentioned Arcane as well. Let me search. Arcane wasn't mentioned? Nah, I'm sure someone mentioned Arcane. Yes. I watched these ones. Okay, I knew I remembered someone mentioning Arcane. Even though Arcane it's not live action. Fallout was goated. Absolutely goated. Answer, or rather question, here in the comment section. I think we have some people complaining about the lore in the replies, but yeah, Fallout Season 1, one of the best shows I watched, definitely. Really, really good stuff. Resident Evil. I remember seeing a bunch of trailers for Resident Evil, but I never watched it. Never watched it. And I don't think I will. I don't really care about Resident Evil that much. Wow, Fallout. Never fully watched Mario Brothers myself, but know what happens in it anyway. That's fair. Loved first Mortal Kombat movie. Rewatched it million times as a kid. The last one is entertaining too. Resident Evil and Silent Hill were decent. Honestly, I didn't even know that Silent Hill was a live action adaptation as well. Personally, I watched The Last of Us, Fallout, the Warcraft movie, and something else I don't remember watching, but I did watch some moments from the Minecraft movie. I haven't watched other live actions, or at least no, I did watch the Assassin's Creed movie. There was a movie with Assassin's Creed. I watched that one a long time ago, although I don't remember what happens. I don't remember what happens in that one. So yeah, there you have it. The question about adaptations. Okay, what do we have here? 10 days ago. Yeah, do you think that's the last question? So yeah, thank you to everyone who voted, by the way, 71,000 votes. These are the nominees for Game of the Year. Honestly, I would remove Donkey Kong. There, I said it. I would remove Donkey Kong. What would I add in its place? Something else, but definitely I wouldn't let this one sit here. I thought that many people were happy with Ark Raiders. I don't know if I would put it up here. I'm not sure. Ark Raiders, that's an option. Why not? I mean, Expedition 33 is going to win. I would be very surprised. Imagine if Donkey Kong wins. Imagine if Donkey Kong wins. Last year, maybe it's just the gaming space I go through, I don't know, but from what I have seen, many people wanted for Black Myth Wukong to win, right? And I haven't seen anything about Astrobot. I had no idea what Astrobot was whenever it won Game of the Year. I had no idea what it was. Right, so I went on and I searched for it. I thought it was garbage, of course. And I was surprised that Wukong didn't win. So this time around, imagine what's going to happen if by any chance Expedition 33 fails to win Game of the Year. That would be crazy. I think people would lose their minds, absolutely lose their minds. And one thing many people probably don't know about is the fact that 90% of the vote, or the result, is decided by a jury of people. No, a jury. It's not decided by the player base. Only 10% is decided by the player base. And that also is insane to me. Now, the thing is, I would laugh so much if Donkey Kong won. I would laugh so much. Because people will probably see through this idea that the Game Awards actually matter. We'll have to wait and see. Honestly, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Mostly because of the game announcements, not necessarily because of the awards. The awards are a bonus to me. You know, the announcements, that's what matters most. For example, if I said it earlier, imagine if not Fallout, imagine if Half-Life is announced. Imagine if Half-Life is announced. Imagine if Gaben goes on stage with his hand up and shows 3. That would be insane. I think the internet is going to explode if that happens. That's simply how it is. That's something I would like to see. Something related to Witcher. Also something I would like to see. Maybe something related to that story DLC from Witcher 3. if there is anything coming out next year. I remember there were some people talking about that. Maybe it's gonna happen, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Are you satisfied with the nominees? Most people said that it depends on the category. Let's see the comments actually on this one. No KCD actors, no Henry, no Hans, it's a crime. Yeah, I thought that Tom McKay should have been nominated for the Best Performance Award. No Man's Skies deserves to win the Ongoing Game Award. Agreed? Dying Light the Beast deserves some recognition. I didn't even know that released. That's crazy. That is crazy. I think the hype for that game died pretty quickly, no? After a month it was forgotten. Most games are like that, truth be told. I don't think anything Nintendo should have been nominated, but otherwise it's a stacked year. The Game Awards this year is just gonna be one giant Expedition 33 circle jerk. Ooh. Don't let the Expedition 33 fans see this comment. Although I might as well make a short about it or something. But they are pretty feral, you know? That's something to avoid, probably. Anyways, not much to say about that one. Do you buy games after they win at the Game Awards? 46,000 votes. By the way, thank you to everyone who voted. Most people do not buy games because they win at the Game Awards, and that makes a lot of sense. It mostly just puts it in my radar. No, why would I? I'll buy a game if A. Interests me, B. On sale or is affordable, C. Love the series, D. All of the above. Buying a game that just won an award isn't an incentive for me. We are living on hard times, as is, and it's a ridiculous reason to do frivolous spending. I meant frivolous, not frugal, my mistake. Previously the comment said frugal, yeah. Frugal means that you do not spend your money easily. At no point have the Game Awards ever factored into my purchasing decisions. Most of the time I have no idea the Game Awards even happened. I buy them and they happen to have won awards. I still don't understand why anyone even gives a about these awards in the first place. It's the announcements, my guy. It's the announcement. Or at least, from what I've seen, many people care about the announcements. Then, of course, the developers. I think the developers who hype up the Game Awards see it as an opportunity to market their game. It's a marketing strategy for their game, not necessarily that they care about the award itself. Especially because the award isn't even voted by fans, it's voted by a jury. For sure, they are fans of the games as well, but realistically, the player base should be the one to vote at all times. So yeah, they are probably seeing it as a marketing opportunity. Announcements, part of marketing as well. Win an award, part of marketing. All of it is part of marketing, as far as I see it. I mean, now since the awards are 90% determined by journalists who are often financially compromised or have no idea what they are talking about. Biggest true I've ever seen in my life, and it's something I earlier talked about. 90% of the vote. That is insane. That's disrespectful, I would say. Winning Game of the Year is like winning a JD Power and Associates Award. You only won because you paid for it. I don't know what that is, but yeah, this last line is very true as far as I see it. How can Astrobot win? How is that even possible? Imagine if Donkey Kong wins. I legit just watched the announcements. Big throw. Big throw. Usually wait until it's on clearance years later. Depends. Sometimes I find a game, buy it, and find out it won an award a while back. And it also puts others on my radar. Yep. The biggest thing for me if I watch a game being played already and experience a story that can't be re-experienced. Aha. Okay, there you have it. Most people don't really care about the Game Awards. Some people say it depends, so I guess it depends on the game. Most people did not buy Astrobot. I'm just saying. Trash. Valve released Half-Life 27 years ago. This was 2 days ago, by the way. I know Valve devs will see this post, so I'm expecting the release date of Half-Life 3 in the comment section. Guys, we got the release date for Half-Life 3 in the comment section of this post. As you can see, that's what I'm expecting to see here. And let's see if that's the case. Okay, Valve employee here. Okay, we got a Valve employee. Okay, brace yourselves. Anything about the release date? You can expect the game in 3 months. Ooh, 3 months. Valve time? Valve time, that's not good. We can't wait for everyone to enjoy this next entry along with Portal 3 in 2 years. Valve time. That's crazy. Really? You're gonna add that here? Valve time? Okay. Okay. I guess Valve time it is. Valve employee here, the game will come out in 1 hour. I'm Gabe Newell. Okay, that's crazy. This is actually Gabe Newell. Real, not fake. Honestly guys, if this wasn't added in the comment, I would probably believe it was a random person, but because it says real, not fake, now I'm sure this is Gaben. Okay, Gaben. 1 hour, 1 hour probably Valve time, no? That's probably 1 year. 27 years. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Yeah, I'm not old. I'm 26 years old. 26 years young, by the way. Of course. Other Valve employee here. Ooh, we got 3 of them already. 3 Valve employees in the comment section, guys. This is actually insane. Gabe isn't happy with the 50s dinner level, so we've had to rearrange a few things and redesign some levels to make it work. Aha, this is the release date. God willing, it will be out by Q4 2046. That is way too long. Way too long of a wait time. Too much. Not possible, guys. All of these Valve employees, and they give me nonsense answers. Besides the one guy who mentioned 3 months Valve time, that's something I can expect. I can be happy with. Valve time could be 3 years or 30 years, you know? Okay, next. Ooh, this is something I dislike. I dislike seeing people disagree with me. No, I'm joking. So yeah, do you care about character customization in games? Who cares about that? I'm joking. So yeah, 31,000 votes. Thank you to everyone who voted. 75% of people voted that yes, they care, and they're happy about it. 4% voted no. These are the real people. I want to sit with them. These are the real people. 21% of people depends. Depends on the game. Depends on the customization system. That's how it is. Realistically, I don't really care. But I see that I'm in the minority, and that's fine. I spend hours in the character creation menu. At this point, it's a core feature. Okay? I've at one point spent about an hour. Oh my god, this is how I started hating the character creation, I think. Because I also spent hours in the character creation at one point. I think at multiple points. When I first played the game with the character creation, I lost my mind. I remember losing my mind. What? It's a character I create by myself and then I can see the character I created the way I wanted? That is insane. That's how I thought about it in the beginning. But then I did it more and more in different games or whatever. And at some point I remember that I had a limited amount of time to play a game in that particular day. And all of that time was wasted in the character creation. And then I had to go to sleep and I thought to myself, wow, what a waste of time. Might as well just do something quickly and play the game for the 5 minutes I have left in the day. That's how it happened, I think. I've lost so much time, and I think it is kind of a waste of time at one point. Especially in those ultra-realistic character creation systems, because you can get lost in them. It's simply how it is. I remember seeing this one girl on Reddit in a character creation where she made herself and then she overlapped the image from that game on her face and it overlapped perfectly. You know, it was like she was in the game. That to me is insane level of character creation features. And you would actually be there for hours and hours and hours. Depends on the effort. If it's in-depth type of a customer creator, sure. If it's clothes, hair, etc. of an already established character, sure. However, if it's a silent insert protagonist with a total of 8 pre-made faces and 10 hairstyles to choose from, and that's all, honestly, I'd prefer the devs try their hand at making a set iconic protagonist design instead. Okay. So that would be what game? I don't know. In RPGs, yes. In any other type of game, it's nice, but not important. Okay? Yes, even if the character's physical characteristics can't be changed, I still wanna play with their appearance. Red Dead Redemption 2 handled this flawlessly. I had fun dressing Arthur up like the pretty princess he is. Okay, is that true? Is Arthur actually a princess? Being a highly deformed being is my favorite part of a character customization. Yeah, I should probably do something like that at one point. So long as it's not pay to win or locked off with microtransactions, season passes, or loot boxes, I love it. You might be thinking to yourself, is that actually a thing? Yes. I have played at least one game where some of the customization options were locked behind microtransactions. I love making my character look good and ripped out in cutscenes. Really helps me slip into their skin. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Okay? That's RPing. Never mind. I love it when devs implement a character editor just to have you playing in first person. Angrily looking at CDPR. Ooh. Honestly, I would tremble in my boots after seeing this. And truth be told, I don't think I would play Cyberpunk anything else other than first person. It's way too good. A lot of freedom as far as I see it. BioWare released Mass Effect 18 years ago today. That was yesterday, I think. Or 2 days ago. Or almost days ago. Big trilogy. I did play it. The first one, Mass Effect. I thought it was really good. Honestly, I was surprised how good I thought it was. I played it, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe 5. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I did play it and I liked it. And I remember, wow, I think I remember why I stopped playing the series. So I went into the second game, and from what I remember, in the first Mass Effect, you don't actually have to reload your guns. You just shoot your laser weapon and that's it. While in the second game, you have to reload. I think that's what made me kind of want to stop. And something else happened, I think. I don't remember exactly why I stopped playing. I had a lot of fun in the first one, that's for sure. I just played Mass Effect 1 and 2 and I'm obsessed. Very scared to start Mass Effect 3. So there is a strategy you can have. There is a strategy, and this is something I sometimes do. When I play a game I absolutely love, something I do, I never finish it. I never finish it. Why? Because then I will forget at one point what I already played, so I'll have to restart the game. Thinking that I will finish it, but I never do. So then I do it again, I repeat. Some time passes by, I forget what I played through, so I start a new character. You go through that same section you enjoyed again and again and again. You can do it after finishing the game, but after finishing a game, it feels like you have no reason to restart it. No, it feels like there is no reason to replay it. And a very good example of this is Skyrim. I have never finished the main story in Skyrim. The last thing I remember about that was me going on top of a mountain. That's what I remember. I was talking to a dragon on top of that mountain as far as I remember. But I remember multiple times where I started playing Skyrim because I thought about finally finishing it, but it never happened. I never finished Skyrim, but I did enjoy my playthrough. What I played through in that restart of the game. I enjoyed all of it. Very immersive game. Same can happen in other games as well. Don't finish it, you'll have a reason to replay it all over again. Or at least it worked for me. So yeah, Mass Effect 18 years ago today. Crazy. I think there was another game I did not post about which was released recently. Anyway, which one of these is your most wanted game? Of course, with this poll I'm referencing the Golden Joysticks Award. It's something I talked about in the pinned comment. So in the pinned comment I usually add context to the question or post or I self-promote. That actually doesn't really happen. I think I made a single post about the stream. I should make them more often, I think. That's probably smart. 29,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted. Which one of these is your most wanted game? At the Golden Joysticks Award, GTA 6 won with 18% of the votes, while Witcher 4 had 16% of the votes. Resident Evil, I think, had 8% of the votes, so this is pretty close to that. Of course, it was out of 20 games, So that's why I added neither. No. Neither of these. Some people mentioned in the comment section Half-Life, but that one wasn't even announced. Cyberpunk 2, 1000 votes. Cyberpunk Orion, 300 votes. The next Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, bro. Cyberpunk, probably. Cyberpunk. Next Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2079. Okay, that's another name. Cyberpunk 2. No Cyberpunk 2. Cyberpunk Orion. Cyberpunk Orion. Okay, nice. Cyberpunk Orion. Cyberpunk in 2032, probably. Okay, that's a release date. We have the developer right here. Cyberpunk. Ah, never mind. This is something else. Ah, no, it is. Cyberpunk. Another Cyberpunk. And another one. Cyberpunk. Half-Life 3. Nice. A bunch of people are waiting for Cyberpunk. Their most wanted game is Cyberpunk. Part of it is due to the fact that this channel is heavily related to Cyberpunk, I think. But still, this is a good ratio, I think. This is a very good ratio. A very good ratio. Why do I say that? It's close to the one from the Golden Joysticks. Although in that voted 21 million people, in this one voted 29 million people, of course, as you can see, that's definitely 29 million. So, yeah, as I said, massive win. Massive win, guys. Absolutely. This is a huge win. Okay, now let me go to the past, or in the past, and see some of that stuff. Ooh! I mentioned Skyrim and I made a post about Skyrim. Let me Control F this. Okay. Skyrim was released 14 years ago, 10 days ago. So it's 14 years plus 10 days. Let's see what the comments have to say. This is a goated release date in my opinion. This is a goated release date, 11/11/11. Whoever thought about that is a genius. Okay. It was also released 12 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and 4 years ago as well. Thank you, Todd. It's actually true. This game has so many release dates, it's actually crazy. This game was released so many times. This is a goated comment, my god. My god. Deserves one of these YouTube hearts. I should pin it. Maybe I should pin it. Actually, maybe I shouldn't, but still, a really funny comment. I should like it as well. 14 years without a sequel is wild. But seeing Starfield, it might be better that way. Ooh! A huge attack to Starfield when it comes to Starfield. I haven't played it. I've seen some gameplay comparisons between Starfield and Cyberpunk. And do you remember the plastic argument I made when it comes to Assassin's Creed games? It applies to Starfield as well. Plastic. I saw a conversation between two guys with a briefcase on a table talking about a deal or something, and that sequence was compared to the moment whenever we talked to Royce in Cyberpunk. And it was night and day. Night and day. It's crazy how bad the Starfield sequence looked in comparison to the Cyberpunk one. Honestly, it made me feel bad about Starfield. It made me feel bad. That's how bad it was. I thought I wasn't seeing right. I thought that was from the beta version of the game or something like that. That's how bad it was when compared to Cyberpunk. Really crazy, really crazy. I was there 3,000 years ago. Is that person speaking the truth? Was this person there 3,000 years ago? Was this game released 3,000 years ago? I was wrong about 14. So that's one re-release of the game. That's actually incredible. If the game was initially released 3,000 years ago, which is the case because that person was there, so obviously I'm going to trust this comment. If the game Skyrim was released, as I said, as that person said, 3,000 years ago, they waited a long time for a re-release of the game 14 years ago, and then a re-release 12 years ago, and another re-release 9 years ago, and 8 years ago, and 7 years ago, and 4 years ago. So yes, indeed. Thank you, Todd. Okay. Good lord. Are you trying to give me a heart attack? What? I remember playing all the way back on PS3. Now I feel ancient. Prehistoric even. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe Elder Scrolls 6 will come out on 26. Is this true? Is this true? 26? Maybe. Happy birthday, Skyrim. My favorite game. Crazy. Very good game, not gonna lie. Good stuff. Okay. What else do I want to talk about? There was... Ooh. This happened 2 weeks ago. A lot of people liked the post. 10,000 people liked the post. Wow. This is the biggest or the highest amount of votes or upvotes I got on a post. So thank you to everyone who upvoted this. Someone said that they got scared after seeing the Keanu image because they thought he died or something like that. So yeah, in case you haven't seen this, the creator of Cyberpunk, Mike Pondsmith, replied to Keanu Reeves, who would love to play Johnny Silverhand again. I have ways to do that, Keanu. Contact me. So yeah, this was 2 weeks ago. And this is a reference to the IGN interview done between IGN, of course, and Keanu Reeves, where he was asked about Cyberpunk 2. And he mentioned that he would love to play Johnny Silverhand again. And in a recent stream between CD Projekt Red and Mike Pondsmith mentioned that he saw what Keanu Reeves mentioned about Johnny Silverhand wanting to play Johnny Silverhand again, and then replied with, I have ways to do that, Keanu. Contact me. How is that gonna happen? Realistically, prequel or flashbacks? But how are flashbacks gonna work if we are not going to play with V? That's the question. A prequel or someone talking about Johnny Silverhand, and then we have a sequence where we go to the past. So that person tells us a story. Johnny Silverhand is back in the game through that storyline. That can work, no? For example, in Cyberpunk, in Phantom Liberty, we get a story from Paco, an NPC, of something they did a week ago with Kurt Hansen, and we have Kurt Hansen as a playable character in Phantom Liberty. So you could go 50 years ago, whenever a character tells us a story, and you have a playable sequence with Johnny Silverhand, maybe. And it's not like Johnny Silverhand was forgotten because we have a bunch of characters talking about samurai or Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk, and you see all of these samurai records all over the place. So yeah, you can have that. Flashbacks for sure. Stories, recall. A bunch of ways you can add Keanu Reeves back in the game. This is a nice question. Do you explore a game's lore outside of playing it? So that means books, comics, or other ways. I'm a wiki fiend. I get a question about a specific thing and end up 10 wiki pages deep in a lore rabbit hole. Kind of am like that as well. If I enjoy the lore from a game, I like reading more about it. For example, World of Warcraft, you know? That's why I added the Arthas book. It's something I read. I thought the Arthas book was fantastic. For sure, I played Warcraft 3. It's based on Warcraft 3, the events of the game. So reading the book is something I recommend to anyone who likes Warcraft or World of Warcraft, right? Obsessed with Cyberpunk lore? I'll watch a lore video if one piques my interest, but beyond that, I don't care. Makes sense. Fair. The Cyberpunk comic books are fire. This is true. Or it could be that V goes back in the network and gets Johnny so that the journey can continue. I think there are way too many outcomes to V's story. I doubt we are gonna see anything with V in the next game. There are way too many outcomes for the character. You have one where V survives, another one where V is an engram, another one where V attacks the Crystal Palace, another one where V is dead, another one where V is with Panem. So there are so many options. Realistically, the only way they can talk about V in the next game, not introduce V, is if someone mentions that V is a legend or something like that. I have an idea of how they might bring Johnny back. They might make V go back in the network to get Johnny so that the journey can continue. That might be how. Yeah, but V's story is ending with Cyberpunk 2077. So how is V going to be added in the? That's the question. There are too many variables. It's not like in Witcher 3. In Witcher 3 you have 3 endings, realistically, for Ciri. She becomes an empress, she presumably dies, but apparently she's not dead, she goes away somewhere, and then she's a Witcher. These are 3 endings of that character. And you can explain all of those endings in the first hours of the game. Very easily, I would say. As opposed to Cyberpunk, where you have so many endings. Okay. So this is about the lore outside of the game. I think the most amount of lore I've read is related to Warcraft. And that question makes the game idea so amazing. Yeah. Again, I don't think we'll play with V. It's gonna be another character or something, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very intrigued about what's gonna happen in the next game. Oh, this is about the 4th season of Witcher. 15,000 votes. No, most people are not gonna watch it or did not watch it. Yeah, I watched it. I thought the 4th season was better than the 3rd and the 2nd one. Oh, this is a question. Do you usually finish a game before starting a new one? This is something I asked because I usually do not finish a game before starting a new one. Most people finish games. 36% of people do not. Other answer, whatever that means. I always try to finish the game before moving on, but sometimes I get burnt out before the finish line. Yeah, 100% I see this. This happens to me a lot. Depends if the game is good. Nope, I usually bounce between a few games of different genres and deliberately make some playthroughs last as long as possible. I do not really do that much. Generally yes, but it depends. Normally yes. I try to. Everyone is trying to. 4 comments, try to finish the game. Okay. Still haven't finished Red Dead Redemption. Oh my god, this comment reminds me that I have to finish it as well. I'll have to free up some space in my computer though. I like to have a rotating 2 to 4 different games in cycle between swapping one out when I finish one. That's crazy. What if someone deletes your saved game? Does that count as stopping the game? That's I think that falls. Yeah, I think it does kind of. Or it's probably something that falls in the other answer category, you know? Because it wasn't you who stopped playing the game, it was someone else who made you stop playing the game. Yeah, it would fall in the other answer category. Ooh, this is also a nice question. I think I was playing Witcher back then, yeah, that's why I added this image. It's from Velen, yeah, Velen going to the Krau's Perch. Do you prefer single-player story games to be open world? A majority of people say yes, 76% of people. 9% voted no, 15% other answers, so yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, makes sense. I think open world are the best version of story games, of single player story games. For sure there are other options, for example, more notably from the ones I played. Tomb Raider, the series, it's not an open world game, but I think the story is really good, and I like that type of games, why not? However, my preference is of course open world games. Depends on the story itself. Some stories are told where an open world narrative fits much better than the linear progression given. And other times, a linear progression fits better than an open world. And some games must know exactly what they are. It greatly depends on the game. It depends because sometimes the open world only drags the game down if it's empty or boring. Yeah, it reminds me of Assassin's Creed sometimes, or Starfield from what I have seen. I have a question for you. If you had to choose one game that is coming out in 2026, what one would you choose to play first? What games are coming out in 2026? Thank you, GameSpot, for the article. Okay. So GTA, I know that GTA is coming out presumably in 2026. 007, I'm not interested. Monster Hunter, Never Grace, The Witch and the Curse? What? Crimson Desert, Fatal Frame, Ghost Master Resurrections, Opa, whatever. Those are trash names, I'm not gonna play them. Deus Ex Remastered, maybe. Dragon Quest, whatever that is. Ghost Gunners, Unemployment. Unemployment Simulator, that's what I'm gonna play. Neo 3. That sounds interesting. Mugenics. What a stupid name. Mario Tennis for... Fever. I thought it said forever. High on Life 2. I think I watched gameplay of that one. Of the first one. Reanimal. What kind of name is that? Proud Nordics. Crazy name. Tides of Tomorrow. Tales of Berseria. What a stupid name. Resident Evil Requiem. Not gonna play that. That's for sure. I don't like horror games. Street Dog BMX. The Legend of Heroes. Broken Lore. Unfollow. Unfollow what? Hermit and Pig. Banquet for Fools. Rightfully, The Seven Deadly Sins Origin. Code Vein. Anything else? Undated. Grand Theft Auto 6 in November. So there are... Wow, this is a huge release window. So what was undated? Wow, there are a bunch of games. I think out of all of these games, I would play Unemployment, as I said. Joking. GTA probably, GTA. I'm waiting for Witcher 4. Yeah, that's probably gonna be in 2027 or something like that. That's speculated though. That's a speculated release date. So I think I would play GTA 6 if I get a PS5 first. I don't have a PS5. But I don't think I should get a PS5 because the PS6 is going to release in the next 2 years, I think. In the next 2 years, maybe. I remember I bought a PS4 Pro a year before PS5 was released. And I'm not gonna do it again, that's for sure. I remember it was during Black Friday, and a colleague from university mentioned that the PS4 Pro is on a huge sale. I went there immediately, bought a PS4, and I probably have 50 hours of playtime on the PS4. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it again, that's for sure. Ooh. That's an interesting question. Do you finish single-player games 100%? Now that's one question with a bunch of answers. 43,000 votes. So thank you to everyone who voted, by the way. Yes, completionist. 13% of people. I thought it would be higher, honestly. I'm waiting for the next Horizon Zero game. What's the next one? Next Horizon. Never played any of them. Horizon Zero Dawn? What? Horizon 3? Thing. I've never played any of these games. A colleague of mine from university had played the game and he enjoyed it a lot. I think he had it on a PS4. I told him that I would buy it from him. I told him that I would give him $10 for whatever game it was. I don't remember the name. And he refused. So I never played Horizon. 58% of people voted depends. So they are completionists, but only in some games. The ones probably which they like. 3% of people play only the main story. Yeah, I'm sometimes like that. For example, in Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, whatever the other ones are, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, these two more notably, because these two apparently have side quests. I tried playing side quests in them, but they are so boring and clunky and not engaging at all, so I never played them. So of course in those types of games I'm not a completionist. In Cyberpunk I was a completionist, for example, so I probably would fall in the depends category. 26% of people play the main story and side quests. That means without garbage additional stuff. For example, in Dying Light, more notably, we have these things which add up to the completionist rate, I think, where you have to parkour in a given amount of time from one place to the other one or something like that. Those things I'm not doing, that's for sure. I think that's, yeah, parkour from one place to another one. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Just to be a completionist. Absolutely not. If the achievements are things like do a certain esoteric thing, sure. But if the achievements are collect all 257 knickknacks, I'm out. This reminds me of Lost Ark. This is a multiplayer which was released a few years ago. I remember playing that, and there is an achievement, or it's part of the completionist activity, where you have to get something called Mokoko seeds or something like that. Like 600 of those or 1,000 of those split around the world. Now that is crazy to me. And I started searching for them. I played that game so much, it was actually crazy. I played with some colleagues from university. Honestly, I was happy whenever I played that game because I was finally able to pass a class, which was pretty hard. And I was playing that because it was around the time when I finally passed the class, the release date. And at one point, I had probably an average of 200 hours in a month or 2 weeks, I don't remember, a lot of time. So I stopped playing as soon as a friend of mine said, why do we even farm in this game? What's the reason? What's the goal? And yeah, the goal was pretty weak. Just to do some dungeons or raids was basically when I stopped playing. I did ask about that question. Ah, yes, I did go through that as well. Do you watch game trailers? Oh, wow. Do you watch game trailers or avoid them to stay spoiler free? Not all games have spoilers, but the Cyberpunk one is the biggest offender, I think. I watch them 31%, I avoid them 12%, 56% say it depends, other answer 1%, but I don't think what other answer could mean in this instance. Either way, I do watch them, but I mentioned the Cyberpunk trailer. Jackie dies in the trailer. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But maybe it's even masterful from the marketing team because personally, whenever I first watched the trailer, I thought to myself, wait a second, is this one outcome where Jackie dies but I can save him in the game? That was something I was thinking. However, that's not the case. So it ended up being a spoiler, sort of, because T-Bug is in the trailer and she dies a different way. So that's a difference. In Cyberpunk, what is your favorite ending? And I'm including the secret ending as well. I like the secret one. I like it a lot. The fact that we go through Arasaka Tower alone, that is really good stuff. But I also like the Phantom Liberty ending. I know I'm probably in the minority, but as someone who doesn't really use cyberware, I see it as an absolute win, the fact that we get to survive. That was our goal all along. So whenever I get it, of course, I'm gonna be happy about it. Even though I become an NPC, I still like the end. So these are probably two endings which are kind of on the same level, in my opinion. Probably I like the Phantom Liberty ending a bit more because I get to survive. That's the ultimate goal. Being an NPC. I still find it hilarious that Cyberpunk trailers literally spoiled the entire first act. Yeah. Glad I was late to the party. The only trailer I remember having horrible spoilers is the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed you almost the entire game over the course of a few years. Haven't watched anything about that. Maybe it's true. Playing a game for the first time that you barely know anything about is an awesome experience, especially when it turns out to be a really good game. That's fair. I mean, I don't avoid them, but I don't often seek them out on my own. For me to do that, I would have to be a hardcore fan of the series or the person studio making it. But that doesn't happen often. Okay, that's fair. Thank you to everyone who voted, by the way, on this one. 4 weeks ago I asked it, so this is this month. Yeah, actually last month. It's one of the first questions I asked, I think, in this series of questions. Are you going to play Dawnwalker, made by CDPR developers, or people who worked at CDPR? Some people don't even know what this is. I should have asked, or I should have added an answer about that. Because, yeah, people never heard of it. Honestly, I'm eager to play this game whenever it comes out. Literally never heard of it. Witcher 3 has vampires. Yeah, I replied to this person saying that it's a Witcher 3 with vampires, but Witcher has vampires in Blood and Wine, and of course in the main game as well. It is very similar to Witcher though. Very similar to Witcher. They released a gameplay video recently, and I think it's pretty close to Witcher. Do you pre-order games nowadays? 25,000 votes. No. 65% of people voted no. 31% voted depends, so it depends on the game. 3% voted yes, so they pre-order everything. That's crazy. I added Cartman from South Park because in this particular episode, Cartman talks about pre-order or pre-ordering. It's from the Black Friday episodes, I think. Black Friday is upon us, or it was already? Don't know. Pre-ordering. Last game I pre-ordered was Cyberpunk. Ooh. And we all know how that turned out. I mean, it's a pretty good game now. An actually very good game. Pre-orders in this economy? True. True answer right there. Sometimes, but very rarely. Last game I can remember was KCD 2, but I loved the first and trusted the studio. It's rare that I trust the studio. Yeah, I only trust myself, honestly. I should release a game at one point. I should make a game. Only from the devs I have confidence in. Kojima and Remedy are some for me. Kojima. I feel like many people, and I'm not talking about this person in particular, but I feel like many people mention Kojima because other people talk about Kojima. Not because they really care about his games. I was wondering if you have ever tried the game Reign of Kings. Never. I don't even know what that is. So what, is this a sandbox game? Mixed reviews. Code. Whatever. Similar to Rust? Really? Interesting. Don't waste your money? Scam developer? Ooh. Let it die. Used to be such a great game. Huh. No, I've never played it. Anyways, I think these are most of the questions I wanted to talk about, which is why I will end the stream here. Next Saturday I will stream again. I will probably stream throughout the week, mostly on Twitch, we'll see, because I want to play other games. I want to play some games. Probably World of Warcraft, but we'll see. With that being said, thank you to whoever checked the stream. And whoever liked the stream, of course, tell everyone that I'm streaming. That's the most important aspect. Thank you to whoever commented in the chat. And I'll see you next time. Reign of Kings is a multiplayer medieval game where you get to choose your character and basically do whatever you want. My autocorrect accidentally made Rain into Rhino. Yeah, I did check it earlier. So yeah, thanks for all the comments to whoever commented and the likes and everything else. The stream